So I'm in Central Texas. I'm in my house there out in the country. I'm there with my wife and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. And it's getting, you know, kind of like 3, 4 in the afternoon. And I casually say to the others who look a little bored, I say to the others, you know, I heard about this good seafood restaurant out in Abilene. Maybe we should go. What do you guys think? And my mother-in-law says, yes, I heard about that seafood restaurant in Abilene. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Yeah, maybe we should go. Yeah, and my father-in-law says, yeah, I'll get my coat. Yeah, we could go to that restaurant out in Abilene. And my wife says, yes, I'll just get everything ready and we can go. And I say, but you know, the Abilene, I'm saying, because I don't really feel like going to fucking Abilene, right? Let's be frank. Abilene is like a 2.5, almost 3-hour drive away. Yeah, but the restaurant is good, isn't it? Says my mother-in-law. And then my father-in-law says, yes, it's good. We should go and eat there. And then all of a sudden, we're all in the car. And I'm driving. And it's a long fucking drive. 2.5 hours? Fuck that. 3.5 hours. Get to fucking Abilene and go to the fucking restaurant. And the restaurant, the seafood restaurant, it's garbage. It's garbage, and worse than that, we all eat something that was just bad, right? Because on the drive back, after this horrible restaurant, we all get the shits. Yeah, we're stopping at every fucking gas station between here and Abilene, you know, we're just running to the toilet, you know, it's fucking embarrassing for all involved and fucking unpleasant, you know, it's just like a disaster, right? I mean, like 3.5 hours to get to the fucking place. We get to the fucking place and lousy service, ugly restaurant, you know, and I didn't even want to fucking be there. And the drive back, and we all got the shits. What the fuck? Yeah, we finally get back home from this adventure in Abilene. It's 1 in the fucking morning, yeah? It was 3.5 hours to get there, 1.5 hours at this shit restaurant, you know, another 5 hours to get back because we had to pit stop all the time because all of us had the shits. It was a fucking nightmare. We walk in through the door, we're exhausted, pissed off, we blew the whole day, we're all just bickering, and in the end I say, you know, I didn't even want to fucking go to the goddamn restaurant. And my wife says, I didn't want to go either. I just wanted to go because I thought that you wanted to go. And my mother-in-law says, but I wanted to go because you wanted to go. Didn't you want to go? It turns out none of us wanted to go. And not my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my wife, or me. None of us wanted to go. We all thought that the other wanted to go. And we were too polite to say anything. Yeah, this is called pluralistic ignorance. And this is something that you should pay attention to. This story, this paradox that I've outlined, okay, this is actually a serious thing. See, pluralistic ignorance is when people object to something or don't agree with something, but they figure that everybody else does agree with it. And so they keep quiet. In fact, sometimes they might actually argue in favor of this thing that they don't really agree with, but they figure that everybody agrees with it. Everybody seems to be on board, so they keep quiet. And so as to not be out of step, they publicly agree with this thing that they don't really want to do. The Abilene paradox. You ask most people in Western Europe and the United States whether they want to limit immigration. Something like 70 to 90%, depending on the country where you conduct the poll, do not want any more immigration. They want to limit it. And more than half of the people want to kick out a lot of the new immigrants. Yeah, more than half. But what's going on, and the reason that the flood of migrants continues, is that everybody's too polite to say no. Everybody feels constrained. Everybody assumes that everybody else is in favor of this rampant migration. And so nobody says anything. To my way of thinking, it's a function of politeness. We in the West are too fucking polite. We're unwilling to speak our mind and say, no, I don't want this. I don't want my kindergarten age kid to learn about transsexuality and other adult sexual issues. No, because my kid is in kindergarten. The kid is 5, 6 years old. It's not right to be teaching him this shit. He doesn't even know what the fuck sex is. He doesn't know where babies come from. He practically thinks that they arrive like with Santa Claus in a box or some shit like that. Because he's 5, right? We all think that, and yet we're too polite to say it. And so what happens is that we all assume that everybody else is in favor of pushing all kinds of nonsense in our society that affects all of us. We think that everybody is in favor of it when no one is in favor of it. And the trap is that we all think that everybody else is in favor of it. And there's that other pernicious problem, is that in order to fit in, we claim that we're in favor of it, even when we're really not. Pluralistic ignorance, the Abilene paradox. People say that they want to eat at the seafood restaurant in Abilene, and they insist on it because they don't want to be out of step. I mean, think of it. You're there with your mother-in-law and your father-in-law, and it seems as if they want to go to this fucking restaurant. What are you going to do? No, I don't want to go? No, you're like, okay, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go, let's go. You know? Of course, because you want to, it's not that you want to be compliant. It's not that you're weak. You just want to get along, especially with the people around you. You want to get along with the people around you, and so you shut your mouth as to what you actually want. And instead of saying what you actually want, you agree to something that you know is going to be a fucking disaster. Mass immigration, the transsexuality, you know, all of these foreign wars and whatnot, all this military adventurism that's going on, all of these ridiculous stimulus checks and basically money printing in order to make people happy. Nobody's in favor of this. No one is in favor of it. But all of us are too fucking polite to speak our minds. And that's the problem that we are having. We are too fucking polite. And we have to stop being polite. We have to say, no, we don't want this because this is a horrible idea. We have to stand up and say, to go to Abilene, to the crappy seafood restaurant in Abilene is going to be a fucking disaster. And I don't want to go. I don't even fucking like seafood. We have to stand up and say no. But we're too polite. And more to the point, certain people realize we're too polite. And they manipulate the zeitgeist to make it impossible for us to disagree. Oh, you're against teaching about transsexuality to kindergarten kids? Oh, you're a transphobe. Is that what you are? You're a transphobe? Nobody wants to be called a transphobe. Nobody wants to be called a racist. Nobody wants to be called any of these other isms or ists that are so detrimental to our social standing and indeed to our livelihood. No, of course not. You get called a racist, you're fucked. You're going to lose your job, your business. I mean, you're up shit's creek. So of course you don't want to be called a racist. Of course you don't want to be called a transphobe. That's how you keep your mouth shut. When you shouldn't. When it's outrageous. But certain unscrupulous people realize this. They realize that all they have to do is threaten to call you some ugly name, and they'll get you to shut up. They'll get you to not speak your mind. They'll use your politeness and your fear against you. There's that saying that for evil to triumph, good men have to keep quiet, or some shit like that. I always forget the exact saying, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The Abilene paradox, motherfucker. See? By not speaking up, you're allowing your whole society, the whole social group around you, where you live, all the people around you, to pursue some goal which is to your detriment, which you do not want. You don't want to go to fucking Abilene for the fucking seafood there because you know it's a long fucking drive, it's garbage food, it's just going to be a fucking mess. You don't want to go, so say so. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of people giving you ugly looks. No. It's important to speak your mind, because if you don't speak your mind now, you're going to be on a long drive with shit just pouring out of your asshole and a miserable fucking experience. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my content, and if you did, please check out my Patreon channel. Link is in the description below. I put out an extra video on Patreon that you can't find anywhere else because it's a bit too hot for YouTube. And I also do a Sunday call-in show called The Weekly Webinar, where I talk about different things, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. So please check it out. Thank you so much, and I will catch you next time.